Now, I know they not trying to keep my sister here overnight on some bullshit. Sir, language. Sir, racism. Ralph Angel. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, and we have made it to the end of season 4 of Queen Sugar. This is episode 13, titled I Am. And in some ways, I don't know exactly where the title came from as far as saying that I am, but I am a borderline is what I feel like it was saying. I am a winner. I'm a driver. I can get shit done. So, last week when we left off, Micah stood up like old girl on Color Purple. My name is Mary Agnes. But really, Micah was saying, I'm not going to Harvard. I'm going to Xavier. Now, what I did note in my review before this is the fact that Charlie had just given him a gift with a card that said, pursue your dreams. And I think in that moment, Michael was like, okay, I'm in a safe space. I can say what I feel. Mom, guess what? I'm not going to Harvard. But needless to say, when this episode opens, that storm has somewhat passed. Micah is in the kitchen making a sandwich, and Charlie walks in and is like, do you have one for me? And she's like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this a lie. You know, I'm not happy with your decision. You know, it's going to take me some time to get through this. But I see both sides. You know, parents have hopes and dreams for their children. And sometimes the pursuit of art is not one of them. And that's unfortunate because I think art is so very important to our lives. I played it safe too. I went to undergrad, I majored in business, I went to law school, I have a law degree, and all I have to show for it is, number one, a brilliant mind. But I mean, I was already book smart before I went. I've been reading since I was 3. But, you know, I really don't have anything to show for it as being fruitful, because for some reason I don't know what's going on. But I mean, pursue your dreams is basically what I'm saying. And right now, one of my dreams, of course, is doing radio and comedy and my commentary. Those are the things that make me happy and bring me the most joy. Albeit there are times when I'm not always right on it. You know, like now I've uploaded the first 2 shows of Queen Sugar that I missed reviewing the week they came out. So the last 2 episodes before the season finale are now live on this YouTube channel if you want to go back and catch those. And also, if this is your first time here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs this video up. So back to Charlie and Micah. But Micah has to become his own man, and he does have those opportunities that you fought for with his dad to make sure that y'all had a fruitful marriage and family life. Because I'm sure Davis couldn't have done all that shit on his own without Charlie at his side. Next thing you know, there's a knock at the door. It's the deputy sheriffs, honey. They coming there talking about, we got a warrant for your arrest, Charlie Bordelon, for arson and fraud, attempts to defraud. And I was like, God damn. These dirty ass Landrys and Boudreaux strike again. So when we get back after the break, I was like, arson? Defraud? Not Charlie. She already sat up there and told them people, honey, I got plenty of money. Plenty of money. I don't need to be defrauding people. I'm not like some of them corrupt folk you work for that sent you over here. Needless to say, child, they end up, the whole family down there to the jail. Ralph Angel is acting like he gonna have an uprising in the jail. Now, I appreciate his fervor, and I understand that you want to protect your sister, stand up for your sister. But I was like, sit your ass down. I was like, Ralph Angel, you know what it's like to go to jail or prison. You want to end up in there with Charlie? Because he was like, I know they're not going to leave my sister in here on some bullshit. And when that sheriff said, sir, language, he was like, sir, racism. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all like when I do my Ralph Angel voice. The deputy goes, sir, language, and Ralph Angel was like, racism. I was like, ooh, and then Nova tried to say something too. He's like, ain't nobody talking to you, Nova. I was like, that's right, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. That's how I felt. So finally, Charlie walks up out and she's like, these charges will be dropped by in the morning. They are fraud, okay? Y'all can't do this to me. Okay, so we find out that the reporters are out there and Charlie goes out and gives this statement that basically made me say, this girl is on fire. And I was like, yes, come through, Alicia Keys. That's what they should have been playing in the background, because basically she gonna burn you motherfuckers down. Whoever it was that set her up to burn down her own sugar mill, you best believe you're not gonna stop me. Can't stop, won't stop. Come on, Charlie, come through now, girl. Well, next we see Aunt Vi meeting with Sam Landry, and she's just like, now Sam, you were supposed to stop this. And Sam was like, I had to let things play out so I could do what I needed to do to give you all the pieces. And he hands her a brown envelope, and in that envelope is some juicy tidbits. But we also come to understand why Vi and Sam have history, and why Sam had to make good on something he owed her from back in the day. He had to come through on a favor that Aunt Vi had repaid him. Come to find out, Sam procreated with a black woman, her friend Betty. And we all like, who? Well, first he asked, he was like, have you talked to Betty? And she was like, I lost contact with them like 15 years ago. Last I heard, your daughter. I was like, daughter? Graduated from Spelman and then went on to Wharton or something like that. And I was like, so that's why Sam has been, you know, him and Vi kind of have a history. And so he was like, you know, I just didn't have the wherewithal then. I was young and dumb. He was like, I knew that if Francis had ever caught wind of the fact that I had a child with a black woman, Daddy would have had my hide and cut me off. Because he thanked Aunt Vi for getting them safely out of town before anyone could find out. Because at that time, it was just a rumor, but it couldn't be proven that Sam had impregnated a black woman, and therefore would be corrupting the Landry bloodline, and thus that's why his father would probably cut him off. But of course, we now know that the Landrys and the Borderlines, that blood ties them together. And then Sam said something else that disturbed me. He goes, you know, by the time I knew better, I was like, by the time you knew better, you know better now. So if you're so concerned about where your daughter and your ex-lover is, why don't you just look them up? You have the resources to find them. It's not like it's that hard if you pay the right people to do it. Needless to say, I'm just glad that Sam is out of fucks to give. Because in that file that Aunt Vi delivers to Charlie, and Nova's over there too, they're all like, Aunt Vi, where did you get all of this from? Oh my God, she's been paying people off the books. Charlie was like, this isn't the financials I've been seeing all this time. Aunt Vi sat back in that sofa and she was like, I got history on my side. I done collected a few chips to play when I need them. I was like, all right now, Aunt Vi, come through, because you young girls, y'all don't know nothing, honey. Your Aunt Vi got a few tricks up her sleeve, honey. I was like, I know that's right. So Nova made the note that it's still not enough. We still don't have, you know, who these people are and all this stuff, right? Because remember last week, she did some digging and found out about some Beckington group and a Parker Campbell, okay? Honestly, with her having paid money off the books and to people that weren't disclosed in the financials that she's presenting to the board, that's enough for wire fraud, if you ask me. And, you know, she created these phones. That's tax fraud possibly, too. I mean, you can get her on. The feds could string her up on a lot of things. But like Aunt Vi said, we'll keep looking. Later on, we have a scene of Aunt Vi and Hollywood together. Whenever they come on scene now, all I think about is Black love and Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing. That's what I think about. I was like, can I get like a Ralph Angel and a Hollywood together. I'm tired of putting my mama down as emergency contact law. No, but seriously, I love seeing them together. Blue has a special surprise for himself. Now, the reason why Ralph Angel hesitated, of course, to give him this final present that Paw had left him was because, we don't know how he's going to react because, again, Blue has a lot going on. I mean, the child is in therapy thanks to his Aunt Nova. But they give him the gift, him and Darla, like a big family. And they sit down, and Blue is so excited. It's a beach ball. Now, how this beach ball has maintained the air for the past 4 years, I don't know. But maybe that's the work of the Lord, amen. And he's so happy to have it, but at the same time, he gets a little emotional. We as children, I know I was raised by my great-great-aunt who was in her late 60s, early 70s when she started, actually her late 60s when she started raising me because she passed away 29. So, it's hard for us when those people that have nurtured us and sown into us pass. And so I can imagine how Blue was feeling. Needless to say, my ass up here started crying. I was like, y'all wrong for that. Then Darla and Ralph Angel have a heart-to-heart. They wanted to complete a conversation they had started, and he told her, Darla, I love you, girl. I see you, girl. I see you, your flaws and all. And in my head, I was like, you just said that Deisha saw you. She see you. And now you choosing Darla over Deisha? Let me tell you something. I'm kind of torn about them two getting back together. Number one, y'all ended up in breakdown before. Her mama crazy. Your family finally accept her because they see, the child has. I mean, after you have a toxic mama, there's no telling how your life might turn out. Shit, I've probably been pill popping myself too. Needless to say, Darla and Ralph Angel gonna try to make it work. Okay, so Godspeed to them. Meanwhile, another borderline sibling is also trying to make her relationship work with the white man whose marriage shit done broke up. She broke up a happy home. And then somebody online last night had me down. They were like, so is she gay, bisexual? What the hell is going on? At first she was with these women. Now she's with the men. You know what, y'all? We live in a time where people can pick and choose how and why and what they want to be. Okay? So I guess she would be considered what they call sexually fluid. But I think now she's made a full-fledged commitment to be with Calvin. Her and Calvin are house shopping or, trying to find a rental that will work for them. I don't think she's going to full-fledged move in, but he said it's close enough to his children and close enough to the Ninth Ward because, that's where Nova likes to live with the people, which is thus why Micah is the way he is with his radical truth, okay? So they decide that they're going to move in together, and they also are going to go to Charlie's campaign night, the election night at Aunt Vi's is a couple, okay? Boy, when they walked in, everybody was like, all I know, Charlie, like, as long as you ain't walking up here with Remy, I'm gonna beat your ass. It would have been nice if Remy had showed back up, though, don't you think? And we didn't see Romero this episode either. So that's, I guess Romero was like, when he's done, honey. He ain't coming back, okay? But Micah's face, he was the tough cookie to break, and Calvin was doing that fatherly uncle thing, like, well, your aunt just talks about you and how great you are. I think you're going to do just fine at Xavier. And finally, Micah was like, all right, man, put it there. So, because he has his own issues with cops and former cops, those that stand by and watch and those who actually participate. But like I've said, it's on both sides. Until the top takes care of what goes on down, it's never going to be a perfect system. And unfortunately, they will set you up to get killed if you don't follow their ways and methods. And it's most unfortunate, but it happens. There is a blue wall, and that's why a lot of people just kind of go along to get along to save their lives. Should they be doing something else? They should, but unfortunately, the system is corrupt. Just like I'm reading a book, well, I'm not reading it now, but Smyrna Library is going to order it prayerfully, called Lean Out by Marissa Moore. And she talks about the mean girl gangs at these big ass companies that are supposed to be all about peace, love, and harmony. And, you know, it's like some folk just won't have you back. Like, HR is there to protect the company, but at the same time, they also should be trying to protect the employee and keep the employee happy, because what ends up happening is that you end up suing them. Now, I haven't finished reading the book because I let my electronic checkout expire. But it's like that with cops. You know, it's like, if I say something, I might end up dead. You know, it's different from being just in corporate America. Corporate America, you just fire your ass and then leave you without a livelihood. But either way, I digress. It was awkward, but Calvin and Nova, they're together, and good. That might mean that Calvin can keep her occupied, not a family business. Needless to say, election night, Charlie, this girl is on fire. She won against Jacob Boudreaux. And also during this election night, while the polls were coming in, Ralph Angel kind of looking at Nova like, that's my sister. I love her, but I can't stand her right now. Maybe I'll forgive her. But, you know, they never really kind of interacted. Needless to say, we now have Councilwoman Charlie Borderline in the house. And the first order of duty for Councilwoman Borderline is to come dressed to kill, because she's going to someone's funeral. And that someone's funeral is Francis Boudreaux's. Okay, and by the way, I took a liberty to order you some sweet tea. I was like, baby, you gonna need all this, you gonna be wanting sweet tea, where you going? She basically told Francis, you know, well, some people want to give you some jewelry. I present to you the cuffs. Don't you put them cuffs on me if you know what's good for you. And I was like, oh Lord, really? Girl, just go on and take it. And see, Francis was already trying to bribe Charlie and tell her, you know, now that you in this position, we can still work together. We can let bygones be bygones. And Charlie was like, oh, so I'm already up for a bribe now too? Because we found out everything. She told her about how she had hired people to burn down Queen Sugar, how my fingerprints may have been found on that torch, but that's common in sugar mills for them to have that to break down the cane. Oh, and so you gotta go. And so when they came, they took her away, and Sam was sitting there at the supper club too, drinking. He was like, cheers. I was like, God, talk about family infighting. With family like that, who needs enemies, honey? While there at the supper club, Charlie gets a text message, and it says, Parker Campbell wants to meet with you. Okay? But before we get there, Nova and Ralph Angel have a meeting of the minds and coming to an understanding and resolution about the inner conflict that they have. Nova is relentless, and she simply won't give up. Ralph Angel came outside looking at her like, heifer, if you don't get off my property, just, why are you here? Her end was saying, you know how daddy told us that mama was cremated? Well, she's buried here on the property, and I've got proof. And, you know, she got the book from her mama's journal from the cousin, right? And Ralph Angel's like, I ain't never heard of her before. So they sat down and they started looking at the book, and there's a revelation in there to Ralph Angel about how Nova really cared for him when he was growing up and putting the angel cream on him whenever he got sick or whatever. And then there was some flowers in there. And Ralph Angel was like, but where is she buried? And Nova didn't know. She was like, all I know, there's no marker. But when they see the flowers, they realize that maybe wherever her favorite flower is planted, that's where we'll find our mama's remains. And Ralph Angel even notes that when he was in the sugarcane fields playing with Blue, that he had seen those very flowers, like a lot of them just growing wild in the field. Later on, they meet up with Prosper, which was the ideal and revelation that Nova had. And Prosper says, you know, yeah, your daddy and I would meet up, and sometimes I would see him just walking and talking in the fields. And she was like, do you remember specifically where he was? Because it turns out our mama is buried on the property. Even Prosper didn't know. So her being buried on the property was her gift to Ernest so that they wouldn't be separated or whatever. Furthermore, Nova said something during her conversation with Ralph Angel, and I was just giving her the side eye. She was like, Mama would have hated for us to be the way that we are, but I'm like, your mama also been visiting you because you fucked up. Okay. So my friend Sean had an interesting note about the Borderlands. He said, so the initial evil that Nova's book brought to the family ended up being the tool that put everything in order. And in some ways it did. He also said that he's glad that Darla and Ralph Angel are together. He said, because I don't want to see them sulking and depressed all the goddamn time anymore. Oh, that tickled me. It may not be funny. But needless to say, you know, Ralph Angel and Nova seem to be back on good terms. And in closing, y'all, Parker Campbell. Let's talk about Parker Campbell. This was the biggest, like, oh shit moment. Yeah. Turns out that Parker Campbell is not a white man. Because she had it staged perfectly. Charlie walks into his office. It's a white man sitting at this desk working on the computer. And there's a black woman standing there with her back turned. And, you know, Charlie's like, hey, Parker Campbell, I'm here. And she turns around and she's like, I'm Parker Campbell. And it's like, what? So, and then I was like, that's old girl from How to Get Away with Murder. I forgot what her character's name is. And then someone else also said she was on Underground. I never watched Underground, so I wouldn't know. But I do know her from How to Get Away with Murder. Then Sam comes in the room, and he knew the whole time where his daughter was. And he set her up very well. Baby, next season, it's going to be Battle of the Mulattoes, okay? The biracial black women, okay? One got a white daddy and one got a white mama. Come on now. I was like, oh, shit. They played that. It's going to be an epic season because both of them are like, they just going to be bumping heads, right? Because Parker was like, we going to come down on you. You going to cooperate with us or we're going to destroy you. And we're going to take your farm. I was like, no. You can't take the farm. You can't take the farm. I was like, Charlie, you got to fight with everything that you got to keep that farm. Your mama is buried on that farm. It belongs to the Borderlands. And it's just really sad that you have these black women you know, that have been pitted against each other. But it's going to be interesting. So season 5, I can't wait. Soror Ava, give it. Bring it. And shout out to Professor Dr. Anthony Sparks, who is a great writer in Hollywood. Y'all don't know him. I had the privilege of meeting him at the California African American Museum during Black History Month. And I just love him. In the end, Nova is now writing some truth papers because she realized that she ain't told nobody stories, because she ended up having to apologize to Ralph Angel and everybody else she wrote about in the book. That, you know, at the time when I was talking to you about daddy and everything, you know, I didn't know any better. But her and Calvin are all moved in. They put a headstone on their mama's grave, and Micah and Sister Kiki are so cute together. He got on his Xavier shirt. She got on her Tulane shirt. And that's how the episode ends, with everybody having a happy time in their new lives, okay? But that concludes my thoughts on Queen Sugar. This was season 4, episode 13, the season finale. Thank you all for joining. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if this is your first time here. And be sure to share it and thumbs it up. That'll be dope. Anywho, that's all I've got. I've been Miss Sophia the Diva. Remember, chin up, buttercups, because the sun will come out. But in the meantime, in between time, stay fabulous.